blasting the music. Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting because Christina texted me and said, I'm taking the girls to see Wizard of Oz if y'all want to come. And I said, yeah, we'll have Addie. That's fine. We'll come eat. Well, I just assumed, because they're showing it at the Fox this summer, I just assumed she meant the Fox. So I had this whole thing where I was going to take an Uber and he was going to go because he had to get the car seat. Like, you have to think about all the, like, how we're going to, because let's do that so we don't have to park or whatever. And she just happened to text me to say, it's in theater number 4 and I've left your ticket at the thing. And I said, theater number 4? So I'm like, what theater are you at? Well, of course she doesn't respond. I'm like, please respond, please respond, please respond. So I'm finally, he asked Siri, he said, is there any other place the Wizard of Oz is showing? They said, so we just came here and found them.
Oh, wow.
I was like, please tell me which theater you're talking about. But yeah, they were cooking in here yesterday. Well, I thought if I bantered for a minute, more people would come in, but I guess there's not enough. I know Leona's had another night in the hospital, and he's with her. And he's dealing with a sickness. Freddie and Roz closing the house in the middle of the day. Who else? Ray and Joanne in Philadelphia. So we're here, so let's go to Starbucks. Charles keeps sending out that intention. Can you stream from Starbucks?
I can indeed.
Oh my God. I'm afraid he's already spied out the land. Yeah, we've done everything. I've been everywhere, man. All right. Well, Kian's got to go to Charlotte, so we need to get started so he can get out of here. What time's your concert tonight? Oh, we do need to get started. I thought it was a night thing. Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm sure you'd be like, could we get started so I can get on the road, please? My bad. All right. Thank you for being here, beautiful Metron people. We're glad that you're here. We have a beautiful day. Please remain standing, and we'll play this for the YouTube audience.
Hello, and welcome to Metron. Metron means measure and sphere of influence, and we want to help you find your Metron. Through motivation, enlightenment, transcendence, renewal, outreach, and networking. We're excited to have you here today, and hope you enjoy the service.
Good morning, Metron people. Thank you for being here. A lot of people out of town today, but you made it, so we're glad that you are here. It's a great day to be in the flow, and I believe that we are in the flow this morning. Glad to have Kian with us once again. He was dealing with a previous engagement, and he's got to hit the road and get to Charlotte, his hometown. He's doing a concert there, but he doesn't seem to be that concerned about it, about the time. So, but I want to be sensitive to that. We've enjoyed him, and this will not be the last time that he's with us. So without any further ado, would you please welcome our friend and brother, Kian Martin. Kian. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Metron family. Feel free to take a seat if you would like. I'm so excited to be here, and yes, I'm just not worried. You know, you just learn not to rush things, and Charlotte's 3.5 hours away. It's but I'm so excited to be here. Missed you guys last Sunday, and just wanted to share one song that was really resonating with me through the week, and it says, just talks about letting go and letting God. And I think I'm at a point in my life where I'm just going with the flow of life, but allowing God to be God, because I'm just human. I couldn't seem to fall asleep. There was so much on my mind, searching for that peace, but the peace I could not find. So then I kneeled down to pray, praying, Lord, help me please. He said that you don't have to cry, 'cause I'll supply your needs just as soon as I stop worrying how the story ends. I let go and I let God have His way. That's when things start happening. When I stop looking at back then, I let go and I let God have His way. See, there's so much going on, and sometimes we can't find our way. We have to realize that it's not our struggle to carry by ourselves from day to day. You have to realize that it's not just your battle, not your battle to fight. And realize if you put it in the Lord's hands, everything will be all right. As soon as we stop worrying how the story ends, we let go and we can let God have His way. That's when things start happening. When we stop looking at back then, you let go and you let God have His way. So really easy, I want you to repeat after me. If you've just decided like me that you're going to let go of things that you can't control, let go of worries, of problems, all types of frustrations. Here we go. Say let go, let God. Say let go and let God. You got it. Say let go and let God. Say let go and let God. One more time, let go. Let God. Say let go and let God. Say let go and let God. Let God have. As soon as I stop worrying how the story ends, I let go and I let God have His way. That's when things start to happen. When I let go and I let God have His way. Amen. Let go and let God. What's the definition of it? How's it make you feel? Tell me what you say that truly makes it real. See, kings and queens, philosophers have tried so hard to find. Well, tell me what it means to you, dear, never mind. Love is kind when the world is cold. Love stays strong when the fight gets old. Love's a shoulder to lean on. See, love is you. Love's like the water when the well runs dry. It quenches our thirst, keeps us alive. Just need a one sip, baby. Love is you. See, love is you. love is you. Remember that love is you. Now, is it possible there is a kiss that's so divine? Or am I just a fool? Is it all in my mind? Is it something chemical? A scientist might say, well, see, love must be a drug to make me feel this way. See, love's my permission to be who I am. No inhibitions, cause I understand. It's freedom to breathe, oh baby, love is you. Love's like the kiss when the sun goes down. Quench my thirst, keep me around. Love's what I wanna hold on to. Love is you. See, love is you. Love is you. My Metron family, remember that love is you. See, love is kind, it makes us stronger. Love, we don't have to look no longer. You're the one I cling to. Love is you. See, when the chips are down, I will stick around. You are the one I found in my heart. Love is you. Love is you. Oh, love is you. Remember, each day we wake up, we were created in love. You're the definition, love is you. See, I love you. I love you so very much. So always just remember, man, at every single day we wake up, we're created in love, right? We were created to love. And because of love, there was a song that I shared, 2 weeks ago. Suitcase, which has been a really, really special anthem that I've been so happy to just share with people. And I wanted to share with you guys today the actual recorded version with the fancy track. How does that sound? And it's a song about inspiration, and I can't tell you just how much each Sunday I was sharing with Bishop when I had an amazing burrito. It was just an awesome breakfast burrito. It really, really was, y'all. It was really good. And I was just sharing like how Metron has just been such a fresh experience, you know, and I genuinely say that all of you, I please hope that I can come more, and this was just a delight. And this song, Suitcase, it resonates with me, and it made me think on all of the different topics he was speaking in his sermon, just about the specifically miracles, how it's our decision to find miracles in everything. And Suitcase, this song is a miracle that keeps reminding me of how dreams can come true. Your, opportunities are limitless. We were created to do some great things. And so I hope you'll be inspired. And this song talks about living your dreams. So I want to invite you to your feet, because I want y'all to sing and move with me some a little bit as we share Suitcase, please. So I want you to take just a moment, and I want you to, where you are, just close your eyes for about 30 seconds. I want you to touch the side of your temple here, and I want you to think about whatever your dream, your passion, your life's vocation, your life's purpose, and I want you to concentrate on that. And I want you to think about all of the different moments in your journey, the lows and the highs, but how it's important that we truly carry out life's vocation. So I want you to open your eyes, and I want you to just get a snap in your hands like this. So I want you to snap with me. So I'm gonna teach you this song, and before I finish, you're gonna sing it with me. Hey, so here he goes. I've got places to be, things to see. Let's hit the road, it's time to go. What we waiting for? I'ma be living out of my suitcase. Yeah, city to city, state to state, country to country, dispelling the hate. If that's what it takes, I don't mind. So get your dream on your mind. I'm tired of living this way. That's why I'm packing my suitcase. I'm only taking what I need. The world is waiting for me. I won't sit home any longer when there's a child dying of hunger. And I should be making a difference. You know I'm telling the truth. Wasted potential is the death of many. See, there's plenty of dead men who live because their words live on, though they've been long gone. See, I know you and me both can be like them. Now I want you to snap with me and I want you to rock. Places, there we go, let's move. Hey, hit the road, it's time to go. What we waiting for? You gonna be living out till I see you. Hey, say city to city, state to state, country to country, dispelling the hate. If that's what it takes, I don't mind. I want you to listen to these words. Out to my suitcase. See, I'm gonna make a difference, not gonna walk in ignorance. I'ma leave an imprint, I'ma change the world. They gonna know I'm here, the world is gonna be my stage. Yeah, and when I'm long gone, they gonna talk about me, they gonna read about me. I'm gonna leave a legacy, you gonna leave a legacy. See, you and me, we gonna make history. Now wasted potential is the death of many. Yet there's plenty of dead men who live because their works live on, though they've been long gone. See, I know you and me both can be like them. Now I want you to put your fists up for dreams and rock. Rock, yeah. See, we gonna live our dreams. And this is your part right now that you gotta catch. You say, living out to my suitcase. Yeah. And all my higher voice friends, if you're a soprano or alto, I want you to catch this part right here. Living out to my suitcase. See, let's change the world, y'all, for every boy and girl. Let's lend a hand. We gotta take a stand. Yeah, when facing fears, don't worry about them. They're gonna disappear. They're gonna disappear. Do you believe that? They're gonna disappear. Yeah. See, our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate, but our deepest fear is what? That we are powerful beyond measure. And it's truly our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. So Metron family, do you believe you can change the world? Do you believe you can change the world? Mr. Dreams, one more time. Rock, 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 rock. I've got, see, places to be, things to see. Let's hit the road, it's time to go. What we waiting for? Here's your part, y'all sing. Say city to city, state to state, country to country, dispelling the hate. If that's what it takes, you sing, say. Now clap, clap. Say places to be, things to see. Let's hit the road, it's time to go. What we're waiting for, sing it loud, sing. If you believe you can live your dreams, if you believe you can live your dreams, Metron family, y'all sing, sing. My suitcase, sing it, sing, sing. Sing it one last time, we gon' be. You can live out your suitcase. Thank you so much. And this has been a blast. Thank you so much, Bishop and Metron family. And I look forward to seeing you all again very soon. I love y'all. Thank you.
Kia Martin. Have a great trip. Yes, consider yourself re-invited. I'll talk to you soon. That was awesome. I don't know if you have to leave the service, but if you do, have a successful trip. and believe that you have favor on your event this evening. Glad to see some more people came in. Patricia, I thought you'd already gone to the beach. You post so much stuff about, I ain't even here. I'm on the beach. I'm like, well, I guess she's already gone. Don't say it twice. All right. Greet somebody, and then you may be seated. Thanks. Hey. Thanks, y'all. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Glad you're all here. Our outreach this month, of course, is the Angel Eyes, and I think Dawn's going to be with us next week instead of today, but we've already sent the check to that, and that was our connection through Jeff and Marty, who just got back from Kenya. These people are amazing. Kenya and Tanzania, and you need to give that picture of Marty kissing a giraffe to Michelle so she put it on the screen. But they went on safari, and they're amazing. They're like these quiet, unassuming people that if you just talk to them, you think, well, they're just buttoned up and probably live in Buckhead and just real quiet and everything. And like, no, we just got back from Tanzania, scuba diving in Fiji, and they have the pictures to prove it. So anyway, glad y'all are back. I didn't know you were going. They said, well, we told Ken. I said, well, that doesn't mean I know it. You don't know everything. We're not completely hooked up at the heads. But so that's our outreach for this month. Of course, we're coming up on the 5th anniversary of Metron, and our Meditation Weekend 7 will be on August the 3rd and 4th. I tell you, you have to really explain everything you communicate online. Avery had attached an event thing to the page, the Metron page, so I just shared it on the thread just to let y'all see it, and it started wreaking havoc with it. So many people were like, I'm going. How did you not know I'm going? And people were inboxing me. I'm like, no, I'm just showing you the page. Oh, my God, I just took it off. You have to explain everything you post. Like last week, my friend Howie posted the first article I wrote for our last trip that we took to Wilmington. So because it was about movies, I posted the link on my movie review blog. Well, when you share it to Facebook, it automatically, the template puts the first sentence of the most viewed post on there, which mine is from a video of me doing a thing from The Color Purple, and it says, perhaps this little clip from my megachurch days will explain to you. Well, it posted that, it was freaking him out. It was like, again, let me just take it off. So now I'm getting to where, like, everything I post, like, I'm about to post something. Please don't misunderstand. So I've deleted a lot this week. I don't know why, and I'm certainly not trying to energize this. I don't know if it's because of all that's been going on about the 50th anniversary of Pride this weekend, because there's been a lot of rainbows everywhere on social media and everything. But it definitely caused, I've just had some interesting messages this week that I haven't had in several years, but been doing lots of blocking. I was doing it as I came in today. And what's funny to me is religious people crack me up because they begin every one with, it's not my place to judge you. And then it's 2 pages of judgment. I'm like, do you not understand the oxymoron of what you just said? Like, you could, if you really wanted to send me a message, you could just say, it's not my place to judge you. Sincerely. Very good message. And then other people are messaging me wanting to defend me online. I'm like, do you think I haven't read this before? And I thought that was over, because I always say, when you stop bleeding, you stop attracting the sharks. But apparently Pride made me bleed a little bit this week. So I've read the Bible. Thank you again for the cuts and pastes. Some of the verses you've written me about, I've written books on. So, yeah, 47 years of preaching. I've ran across those a couple of times. I'd be happy to show you all the abominations in your life that you committed this morning, but it's not my place to judge you. Because I'm grown up. I've put away childish things. I shouldn't have even mentioned that. So, happy Pride. Our year of living your best life was that was BJ sitting in that big chair on their cruise. They had a good time. They went with his parents, and I'm sure that was a blast. And that was Patricia climbing the mountain, and that was one of my vegetable plates this week. And so anyway, thank you for posting those with the hashtag and for getting the hang of the hashtag. I appreciate it. Let me see. I think next month what I'm going to do, since we're coming up to the meditation weekend, I'm not going to do an artist next month. I think I want to go back into meditation mode, because anytime we go on a weekend, I like to use those weeks to sort of start getting our, I started to say mojo, but I don't know if that's appropriate. We got mojo, right? Mojo's okay. Get our groove on. Stella's got to get her groove back. And yes, I'm aware that they are filmed. They've been, is it The Walking Dead or something? They've been filming on Driftwood Beach. I'm aware of that, but we'll be fine. Yeah. I'm not going to be in a zombie movie. I'm going to have to draw the line somewhere. Jack, that's terrible. Y'all ain't right. Jackie said, "I'll just come without makeup." That was. Lord Jesus, help me. Help me. One thing I do want to mention, in case you didn't see this on social media, Chandra's mother transitioned this week, and so I'll be doing her service Wednesday morning at 11 o'clock at, is it Tribble? Is that the one? Yeah, if you go to her Facebook page, Trimble, Donald Trimble. And also, some of you remember Mario Orsini. He's in hospice right now, and I'm going to visit him after the service. So, they're believing for the best, but, man, there's a lot going on. Please stay healthy, and please do everything you can to eat right and think right and let stuff go. I'm not judging anybody else. I'm just saying for yourself. I go take care of my parents, and I see the state my dad's in, and I immediately go into, I'm in Atlanta, I'm in Fulton County. Today is June 30th. I have 4 children. Their name, because every time I take him to the neurologist, they ask him all those things, and he can't answer anything. So I'm like, what are their names? Jared, Christina, Judah, and John. Okay, got it. But, as I've taught you before, we can multitask. We can walk and chew gum at the same time, meaning we can minister in compassion to other people without condescending to them, but also still believe I don't want to say not, because I don't think the universe responds to the word not. So I keep saying, I will live long, I will be healthy, I will live out my years in my right mind. And you also have to do certain things, you have to, like I can tell whatever about detox drinks and all that kind of stuff, that if they work for you, that's awesome. And I always say find what works for you. But I can also tell you this, when you eat some sugar at a certain age, especially if you've purified some, you feel it in your joints. You're like, oh, what the heck's going on? Like, oh yeah, there's that little trip to Krispy Kreme. And so you have to figure, is this going to be worth it? Because you do feel inflammation in your joints with certain things, and you have to decide, is this glass of wine going to be worth it? Because I may feel it later, and that's just a fact of life. So I'm all about thinking right and speaking right. Even this morning, sometimes I think, should I even write a meditation on Sunday morning? Because I don't want people to think that's their word and not come to Metron. But no, I want to go ahead and post this. It was things I'd posted before about you become your dominant thought. And I said, the thing is, I know you know this, and I've said this before, but you need to hear it again. And yes, I'm speaking to you, because even when you're thinking what you don't want to happen, you still attract more of it, because the universe is not judging whether it's a good thought or a bad thought. It's just the fact that you're thinking about it, which is why sometimes prayer can actually become counterproductive. Because if you're praying against debt, you end up thinking so much about debt that you start attracting and creating more debt. So that's the whole point of calling those things which are not as though they are, and reframing a reality. Even today, it was in my memories this morning, and I reposted it from a year ago. I was in the food court at Lennox, and when I went to pay for my food, somehow I dropped a $50 bill. And later in the day, it's not that a $50 bill is going to destroy my life, but man, it just was like, I cannot believe $50, really? And you just start getting down on yourself, like, you are a grown man. How did you possibly drop money out of, I don't know if your inner critic starts saying this, like, this is why you should never carry cash with you, because, and I thought, no, you know what, I'm going to reframe that, because whoever finds that $50 bill today, it could change their life. For me, it's an inconvenience. For them, it could be the answer to a prayer. So I'm just going to release it with joy. I'm going to consider to pay it forward, even though it was unintentional. I'm going to still get my return on it, and somehow it will come back to me 100-fold just because of my attitude about it. So I actually started getting excited. I thought, man, somebody, can you imagine? There's somebody today. I know there have been times in my life that finding a $50 bill would have changed my life. So for people who are still at that place, like, well, you know what? Good. Then I release it with joy, and I release everything with joy. And even what I said about the religious people, I'm like, you know what? God bless them. It's, they're walking in the light they have. Everybody is looking at life from their level of consciousness. And one of the greatest things about going next level is it seems to me that with every level you go up, you become less judgmental and less defensive and less, you stop taking things so personally and just say, well, that's unfortunate that you feel that way, but it's not going to alter my day at all. It's like finding a pebble in your shoe and like, oh, what's irritating me? And then you take it out and you're like, oh, okay, I'm good. And so that's the good news, is you can still love everybody unconditionally. It doesn't mean you want to hang out with them necessarily. But anyway, that's there's my sermon for today. Thanks for coming. Now do we go to Starbucks? But anyway, I'm looking forward to the meditation weekend, and I love your comments about it. And something really wonderful always happens at these events, and I'm sure that this one will be no exception. And even if, let me just go ahead and give this caveat, if we got there and Driftwood Beach wasn't available, it's fine. The island's got beach all the way around it. We will have a place to meet. That's just where I would like to go for the sunset. And so pretty much the things we want to do have we've pretty much batted 1,000 on all of those things. So so this is going to be a good one. Was that everything? Yes. Y'all ready for the most amazing word you have ever heard in your entire life? It's about to be delivered. Drum roll, please. Welcome to the Metron Live podcast. You are about to hear the greatest word you have ever heard in your entire life. Fasten your seatbelts. Your life is about to be transformed. Can I get a witness up in here at Metron? Actually, I posted today that for some reason it seems like the last installment of a series seems to be the most powerful one, and this has already been powerful. So I'm expecting this word to really alter something in the heavens and in our own brain chemistry and get us more in line for manifesting and receiving miracles. I want to talk about Moses again. I referred to him last week about how God said to him, I'm going to make you God to your brother and to Pharaoh, which is very interesting. And also last week we talked about the fact that he maintained his speech impediment. So saying that you are God or a part of God doesn't mean that you're saying you're omnipotent or infallible. It just means that you are a part of the divine. The scripture says, by these exceeding great and precious promises we have been made partakers of the divine nature. Jesus told Nicodemus, whatever is born of flesh is flesh, whatever is born of spirit is spirit. So God has to give birth to God. We are born of God. You can't say you were born of God and not say that you are God. And I know that it takes some getting used to, getting your head around, how can I say I am God? If you need to say it little g, that's fine. But the fact is that is your essence. That's what you were born of. And this today, and for this final installment, the actual title is Signs and Wonders Lifestyle, Developing the Supernatural and Creating the Miraculous. And I do want to say, I always thank Avery and Charles for doing this, but thank you for on the podcast for putting these the outline on there, because I think for the podcast listeners it helps them to see these scriptures and quotes written out, and I know that requires some extra effort, and I never take that for granted. And Michelle, for all of you who are a part of that. Sometimes I'm not exactly clear who does, because they all are multitaskers. So what? They're a team. So whoever it is, you know who you are. It definitely takes a village, and we have an awesome village here. But I want to go back and look at Moses today. And the first thing, this is out of Exodus chapter 4, verse 2, and I'm in the New King James. And it's just this very simple thing. You're so familiar with the story, I don't have to give you context on it. But this is when he's at the Red Sea. Even if you haven't read the Bible, you've seen the Cecil B. DeMille epic Ten Commandments, so you have a picture of it. If you can't picture Moses, picture Charlton Heston. But God very specifically says, so the Lord said to him, what is in your hand? And he said, a rod. Actually, this I take that back. This is when he was at the burning bush, but he also said it to him at the Red Sea. The point is, when Moses killed a man. I don't know if you know this, but he killed a man in Egypt. So the reason he left Egypt is he was on the lam. He was running from a past mistake. He murdered a guy, and spent, was it 40 years on what they called the backside of the desert, meaning that it was far away from civilization. And he became a shepherd for his father-in-law, and just really went into obscurity. And it seems that he never intended on going back to Egypt. That he seemed to have burned that bridge. And there's a whole multi-level teaching in that about how it's very difficult to escape your past. Sometimes you have to go back and face it. You have to go back and look at it. And there's so many things I could teach from this story. I don't want to get in the weeds, and I want to stay on topic. But the point is, a shepherd, they always have what you call a crook, and it's like a long a pole, a stick that has like a thing on the end, like a hook kind of thing, and you use it. It's usually about the height of the man. I say man because I don't think there were female shepherds at this time, and so it becomes use it for a walking stick, use it for a weapon. If you can't get one of the animals to move, you goad them with it, and sometimes you actually have to use the crook. Like if a sheep or a goat falls off a precipice, you put the hook around them and pull them up by the head. Or, even back in that was in the vaudeville days when the entertainer wasn't pleasing the crowd, they'd give him the hook to take him off stage. So that became a colloquialism to say give him the hook means to take him out of the way. So, but the thing is, it was just a stick. There was nothing supernatural about it, and it's the kind of thing that if you lost yours, you just go make another one. However you did it, you whittled it or whatever. It just came from trees. They were everywhere. So it's not like you had to order them online. It wasn't like Burberry had a special edition, or I want to get a Gucci crook, or I'm saving up my money to get one. Coach has a new one that looks really good. How many other labels can I mention? Louis Vuitton. I want to get the one that, it comes in separate pieces so I can break it down and put it in my valise. No, it was just a stick. And so that's such a loaded question when God says, what is in your hand? Because he looks at it and he said, it's nearly like one of the most obvious questions. Like, what do you mean, what is in my hand? It's what's in every shepherd's hand. And he said, there's nearly like I don't know that Moses had the capacity for sarcasm, but it nearly sounds, it's just such a blank answer. It's like, you could nearly say, duh, a rod. But he just says, a rod. And in this story, this is where God says, well, throw it down, and it becomes a reptile, and then when you picked it up again, it turned back into a rod. And then later in the story, it is what he stretched out over the Red Sea and parted it. At a time when God actually said, you don't have time to pray, use what's in your hand. There's such a truth to this. Now, I want to tell you, sometimes miracles do come from somewhere else. Sometimes they are arbitrary. Sometimes they do just happen. Sometimes somebody else is involved in your miracle. Somebody else is the missing piece. Somebody else is the Elizabeth to your Mary. Remember when Mary found out she was pregnant and the angel says, and so is your cousin Elizabeth, and when they greeted one another, the babies leapt in the womb. Sometimes you're waiting for somebody else to, for lack of a better term, impregnate you with a miracle. But I'm going to say that the majority of the miracles that are going to happen in your life are going to come from within yourself. I don't think they all are. I think there are some of them that are imposed on you. Some things just happen. But for the most part, you're going to have to create your own miracles. I notice, I don't think some people are being passive-aggressive when they do this, but sometimes if I post something, they'll say like I posted the other day, you are destined to become the person that you decide to be, something like that. And there'll nearly always be some well-meaning person he'll post on there, I'm going to be the person who God says I am. And I'm like, oh, okay, settle down. Christians need a vacation so bad. They are so they need to go to the beach. They are so preoccupied with making sure that you phrase everything. I want to go, baby, I know God. I know the Bible. But God himself isn't going to make you do anything that you are not going to at least decree. I mean, if you're the most old school Bible believer in the world, you'd still have to use your own faith to speak to the mountain. I mean, even, like, how do you not know this? And how do you not know that I know this already? You don't have to Christianize me. So I just want to say the good Southern response is, bless your heart. And sometimes I'll leave them, and sometimes if I don't like the energy, I'm like, I get your point, but I'm going to delete your comment, because every time I see it, I don't like the way it makes me feel. I just don't. And I just don't want to look at it. You've made your point. Thank you, Johnny Cochran, for Jesus. You have defended your client. Point well taken. Would you please enter it into the minutes that I have been spanked by a Christian, but now I'm just going to take it off because I don't like that big pile of something you just laid on my beautiful post. So it smells bad. So I'm gonna clean it up, and I'm gonna spray disinfectant where your comment was. And please go to your own page. Bye bye now. But of course we believe in God. Of course we believe in the higher power. But if you don't learn some things about what's already been invested in you and what you already have in your hand, this is such a powerful concept. And I've taught on this for years. When I used to teach on the kingdom, I would talk about, and I would use the scripture in a minute, how Jesus said the kingdom is at hand. It means the kingdom is revealed in what you have in your hand. And the biggest issue I have with traditional Christians is this idea of pie in the sky, somewhere, someday, something's going to happen. I don't know what God's doing, but God's up to something. And I think, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but if you don't learn how to activate some miracles and to notice the ones that you already have, if you don't start celebrating those little ones, those bigger ones aren't ever coming. And most people are so obsessed with the bigger one, they don't notice the little miracle. I don't even want to call it little miracle. I want to say the accessible miracle, because they're just everywhere. I mean, honestly, the fact that you got in an automobile and drove here today at great speeds, passing other automobiles that were coming the opposite direction at great speeds, that if you had just been a foot over, could have killed you or the other person. And somehow you made it, and you've done this over and over again. You might have had a wreck, but for the most part, most times you've driven, you got there in one piece. You're at least still alive. So that's kind of miraculous. Have you ever just been in the middle of something and you think, can't believe I'm doing this. Because we live in the miraculous so much. I've shared this with you before, but years ago I took a group through the rainforest in Peru off the Amazon. We took a boat down the Amazon, and there was a local guy, native guy there who was a survivalist, and Americans would come down, like these American businessmen would come down and pay this guy to teach them how to survive for 48 hours in the jungle. It's like going on safari, sort of, same concept. And so this guy's telling us, some basic things, how you could, if you ever were caught in the jungle, you could eat this for 24 hours, or he's showing you how you could eat grub worms, or how you could make a fire, and blah, blah, blah. But then he got real condescending. He said, but I'm going to tell you something. He said, oh, you soft Americans. He said, without somebody like me, in 24 hours, you'd be dead. Most of you talking, without my help or somebody like me, you would die within 10 to 12 hours in the rainforest. And I said, I'm going to give you a challenge. You come to the United States, and you drive on I-285 in 5 o'clock traffic. Let's see how well you do in survival. Let me spend the night in the jungle. I'm going to tell you, I'm thinking my odds of coming out of the jungle alive are better than your odds of coming off of I-285 in one piece. I'm on a 5 o'clock traffic day with 18-wheelers around you, whatever. Lots of luck. Via con Dios. Let's trade places and let's see how well you do. Because I know you don't think this, but I live in a kind of jungle myself. No, there's no anaconda floating around, but, somebody was stabbed a couple of blocks from me, and I have to learn how to, do I leave the neighborhood, or do I, I'm having to coexist in a hostile environment as well. He was not amused by it, and he said, well, he said, when your cousin was here, I put a tarantula on him in front of his group. I said, I'm going to tell you something. If you put a tarantula on me, I need to tell you, and God's hearing me, I will kill you in front of my congregation. I don't care if I go to prison. I think they'll at least give me life, because I don't think I'll go to the electric chair. But I'll drown you right here in the Amazon River, and I don't care. And yes, I'm filled with the Holy Ghost, but I will kill you if you put a tarantula on me. And we kind of had a stare down. He said, I don't know. I said, look at my face. Do not even joke. There's some things I'm flexible about, but on that one, nope. Don't touch my hair. Don't put a tarantula on me. So I killed him, and they never found his body. But, he had it coming, and I'm just kidding. I didn't kill him. But there's a great question there that Spirit is asking all of us. What's in your hand? What's the talent you already have? What's the ability you already have? How can you bloom where you're planted? Because you've got to rethink miracles. They're not these ethereal things that happen out there somewhere. They're in your life. They're in your metron. Then I want to show you this next verse. This is Jesus. This is Matthew chapter 3, verse 2. And this is the Jonathan Mitchell New Testament. And I use some ellipses here because it gets really, really wordy, but I want to show you the gist of it. He says, you folks be continuously and progressively changing your thinking. This is where in the King James it says, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. He says, you folks be continuously and progressively changing your thinking. Change your perceptions, attitudes, frame of mind, mode of thoughts, and understanding, which that's the definition of repentance. When I was raised Pentecostal, repentance for us meant go to the altar and ask Jesus to forgive you for whatever sin you committed. That's not repentance. Feeling bad about something you did doesn't change the way you think about things. If anything, it's anti-repentance because it reinforces the negative vibration in that you think that you did something wrong, God doesn't even look at it that way. So he's saying your frame of mind, your mode of thought and understanding, and turn back toward God. Because the reign of the heavens, which is really the better definition of the kingdom of God, it's not the kingdom of heaven, it's better translated the kingdom from heaven. It's like Jesus saying, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We're not trying to get to heaven, we are from heaven, trying to colonize the earth. It's a totally different belief system. Because the reign of the heavens has approached and is now near at hand and is close enough to touch, has arrived and now is accessible. It's a perfect definition of the kingdom is at hand. The miracle as is at hand. What is in your hand? And the very fact that God didn't send like this golden rod out of heaven. And he said, if you throw this down, it will become a snake. He says, what do you have in your hand? Meaning, you already have it. Everything you need is already inside you. You just have to recognize it and learn how to use it. Look, I don't know what's different in different people's journeys. Like, I look at some people, even people that we've had here at Metron, that singers, that I think, I can't believe you're not coast to coast. People know who you are because you're as good as people I hear that win Grammys or win, American Idol, whatever. I can't judge everybody's journey. I can't judge my own journey. You drive yourself crazy trying to figure that out. What I will say is that you have whatever it is that's going to take you to the next level. It's already the gift that you have. It's not going to be imposed on you from somewhere else. Now, if you have to learn how to use it to its best advantage, that's fine. But Moses already has his rod. You understand? I know I'm repeating it, but most of the prayer requests I get from people they're praying for a rod. And I want to ask them, well, what do you have in your hand? Or if they don't know what it is, it's not a rod. It's how do I impress Pharaoh? Well, what's in your hand? What do you already know? I've shared this with you before many times, but in her third act, Whoopi Goldberg is really, The View really is her show now. It's like, and it's difficult for women of a certain age to find roles in Hollywood. It's even more difficult for African American women, and especially an African American woman who has unconventional looks like hers. I mean, this is what she has said herself. But there was a time. Whoopi Goldberg's Academy Award winning. At one time, there have been at least 2 times that she was the highest paid actress in Hollywood. So she's had success. And I remember years ago her in an interview, and I've shared this with you before, but that somebody said, what did you do to finally make it? And yes, there was some what we would call luck involved. Like she had a stand-up show in San Francisco that, her name's Karen Johnson, but she took on the stage name Whoopi Goldberg. And she had a stand-up show that became a one-woman show that the great director, Spielberg did direct Color Purple, but Mike Nichols somehow was in San Francisco and saw her show, and he said, you need to be on Broadway. So he took her, it developed it into an off-Broadway show, and that's Spielberg saw that show, and that's how she got the role of Swilley in Color Purple, and the rest is history. But what she said that was interesting, she said, I already knew there weren't a lot of roles for black women already, and the roles that were going at the time, they're going to women that you would consider more like leading lady types. There's a handful of those, like Alfre Woodard or Angela Bassett, some of those. So she said, I knew I couldn't compete with that. So she said, I just decided to just keep being me. Like every agent I went to said, lose the locks. That's going to keep you from getting roles. And she said, I just decided I'm just going to be me and wait till my audience finds me. And she said, that's what happened. She said, I didn't change anything. I didn't change my unconventional way of looking at things. I wasn't even like a typical black comedian or a female black comedian. I had a different, my if you ever saw her stand-up show, she wasn't talking about problems with men and stuff that she just had a different. She was more character-driven, and she would do. She's just different. She just totally created a category for herself, and somehow it worked for her. She decided, this is what's in my hand. Now, there's some people you think, well, what? They seem to have been a version of themselves, and it hasn't worked that well for them. I don't have the exact answer for everybody. All I can tell you is, whatever you've been gifted with, it's that gift that's going to bring you before great men. It's not coming from somewhere else. And Jesus says here, the kingdom of God, the benefits of the kingdom are not out at this place with streets of gold and gates of pearl on the other side of the Milky Way. They're at your hand. You can look at them. Where's my miracle? Boom, there it is. It's handy. How many other ways can I say it? It's whatever your hand. Well, he says here, whatever your hand can reach. It is now accessible. I think about so many of the gospel songs we grew up singing were about, I'm just trying to make it. I'm trying to get to heaven. One of these days I'm going to get there. That's so contrary to the kingdom is at hand. The kingdom is what you already know. That's one of the main rules of good writing, is write what you know. Don't write something that you're unfamiliar with. The next thing I want to show you is, it's just a great Oprah quote. It says, be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough. That's why I want you to recognize the miracles that are already in your life. Now, I'm so into documenting my life. I mean, as of tomorrow, we're halfway through 2019. I mean, half of this year is gone. And I noticed in my memories, I said that a year ago about 2018. In my memories, it came up. I said, can you believe tomorrow, 2018 is half gone? And that was a year ago. So life is zooming by. And I'm, if you're going to spend time with me, especially if you're in my family or whatever, I'm going to photograph whatever we're doing, because I always say, I'm going to document my life. It's going really fast. I want to have some record that I was here, that we did this. Yesterday was that we didn't have Ken's youngest granddaughter. His grandmother had her. But we did have Addie, and it's rare that my granddaughters get to be with his granddaughter. So for the time we had together, we milked it for all it's worth. Look how cute we are. And we had a great time, and of course I'm taking pictures, whatever. And they've all learned now, just do it, because I'm just going to keep standing. Because I think every time we're together, oh well, this is miraculous. Look how, that was Olivia and Addie. I never take that for granted. I never take for granted that, wow, look how our lives turned out, and we're still connected. I see, Eddie, that you do that with Savannah, and I really relate to that. Never take it for granted. If you have a chance to be with your kids, especially your grandkids, and I tell you, Addie's real smart, but she's at that age where she never sits still for a minute. And we took her up to, she was running through the fountains up there at Centennial Park, and his son texted this, we're on our way. I said, well, we better get going because they'll be here soon. Sure enough, by the time it was one of those things where we couldn't get her in the water, and then once we got her in, we couldn't get her out of the water. You know that? My kids used to be that way. Oh, Lord. And when we finally got her dried off and got her back in safely in the car, we both looked at each other, and he said, boy, I love it, but that grandparent part's the best part. I said, I know that's right. You get to enjoy the best part of them and get them real tired. And then, okay, let's go back to Mom and Dad. Poppy loves you. And they never see the stressed out face that your kids grew up with. I remember one time Debbie and I guess we had Jared and Christina at Six Flags, and it happened 3 times. We had stood in line for an hour, and we'd get up there, and Christina would freak out. I'm not getting in there. And finally, I remember it well on the Scream Machine because we had done it 3 times. And I said, "You are riding this ride." He said, "No, I'm not." And I can't believe somebody didn't call DFAX because like people were getting around and was like, "You are going to ride this ride." I had been standing in line. This is the 3rd time I've stood in line for an hour. She's screaming, and we're forcing her in, and people are like, "I think you need." I'm like, "You need to back off. We're riding this ride, and we're going to have fun." Once we did it, she's like, "Oh, my God, it's so much fun." She's crying. She didn't want to leave. I'm like, "That's what I was trying to tell you, that you would enjoy it if you would just get past your initial fear. It only lasts 45 seconds anyway." But you don't have that with grandkids. With grandkids, you're like, "Yeah, we'll do it if you want to do it, if you know, whatever." My mom says I'm not supposed to have sugar. You get it. It's just between you and me. You want a hot fudge sundae for dinner, you can have it, darling. It's fine. Yeah, I hope you eat it. Ken was even running through those fountain things. I was like, "Just please don't slip down because it's concrete out there," and they're running around. I'm like, but it's fun. But anyway, the point is, if you don't, I know I'm always talking about good times and taking pictures of stuff, whatever. It's because the more you praise it, the more it happens. I've even gotten to where it's not enough to rebuke somebody about it, but I don't even like when I go somewhere and somebody says, "Oh, I'm so jealous that y'all are there." I don't like the way that makes me feel. I think, why are you jealous? I mean, why not just say, "Oh, that looks like a cool place to go. We should check that out sometime." The fact that you're saying you're jealous of it feels passive aggressive to me. I feel like you're saying you get to have fun all the time, whatever, and I don't like it. Why don't you just say, "Oh, that looks so cool"? I don't know that I will ever go back to Africa. I don't know. I've been to Nigeria and Uganda, but I see y'all at Kenya. I'll see some Kenyans on Thursday because it's going to be. I prophesy it will be a Kenyan that will win the Peachtree Road Race. I don't know what they do in Kenya. It's never anybody from Nigeria. It's always Kenyans. Yeah? If you didn't hear what Jeff said, he said he had a Kenyan explain why. I mean, every year, this will be my 30th Peachtree on Thursday, and it's been somebody from Kenya every year, every time I've ever run it. And he said it's because it's mountainous, and the Kenyans live at a higher level, and their lungs are able to process air better. And definitely work. It's definitely always an African, not an African American. Something about the American part slowed y'all down, but it's an African. All that American culture weighed you down. Y'all know it's true. But there's always some guy from Kenya that wins that $100,000. But I'm always glad that joke works. But what's the point? Oh, yeah. Enjoy all of it. And, you know, we found numbers, and we've got a J and a K. And I thought, it's like Jim and Ken. Like, is that a miracle? I'm calling it one. Well, you're crazy. Well, that's why I have miracles all the time. And you don't have it. That's why you're always right. I'm so jealous. That's just gross. Why would you even say that? Why would you just say? I mean, I saw a lot of people went up for World Pride Day, and if I didn't have a situation with my parents, I probably would have gone. I love New York. That would be fun. But I didn't get mad that other people got to go. I looked at their pictures. I mean, even Jimmy Mayo was up there. I was like, okay. That's a lot of evolution. He actually posted. He was up there. He and his wife went with Josh and Casey, and I'm not even friends with him on Facebook. I saw it through Ken, and he said, yeah, we're up here and it's great. We're in the middle of everything, and anybody that writes anything negative, I'm deleting you. I don't care who you are. And I thought, well, kudos to you, Mayo. You've come a long way. But I didn't. But it didn't occur to me to say, I'm so jealous. I'm just like, well, I'll be back. And, I'm not having to deal with the heat and the crowds right now because there are crowds. It's like, as I always tell you, people say, isn't it really horrible at Christmas time in New York? And that's crazy. It's insane. Are y'all ever going back? Yeah, probably. It's, we usually try to coordinate it with the week before Christmas. But the crowds is right. It's like when somebody says, isn't there a lot of traffic in Atlanta? Yeah, it's a city with a lot of people who have cars. You do the math. It makes traffic. How do you live in it? Well, there's certain times a day I don't drive, or I know certain routes to take, or if I get stuck in it, I have air conditioning and leather seats, and I have a cell phone where I can let somebody know I'm running a minute late, the traffic's heavy, and I have beautiful stereophonic music and Sirius radio and playlists I can listen to. It's not the worst thing in the world. What? Yes. And if it's somewhere I want to go, I'm like, yeah, it's going to take a minute to get there, fine. But I'm telling you, I know that seems like a small thing, and I posted something this week about the butterfly effect. I was trying to explain what it is, but they've actually proven that it's the same pattern of a tornado. You can trace it back several weeks earlier, and it's the same pattern of butterflies flapping their wings. Everything is connected. So even the smallest happy thoughts, the smallest gratitudes, the smallest just remembering to thank some. I'm telling you, just remembering to thank somebody for something that they did creates an environment for more things for which you can be thankful to happen. I mean, we've been together 7 years, and we still say thank you for dinner. Like if he picks it up, we would never not say that, and we'll probably even repeat it before. He usually goes to bed before I do, and I'll say, hey, thanks for dinner tonight, or he'll say, I don't want to ever take those things for granted. I don't like when people just assume you're supposed to do this. No, yeah. There used to be a time, I know some of y'all too young remember, there used to be a time where people, they were these things, what were they called? Thank you notes? Have you ever heard of them? You used to acknowledge when you just want to be thanked. What, you mean like Jesus did when only one of 10 lepers came back to him and said thank you, and he said, weren't there 9 others? Where are they? But I guarantee you, if you continued that story, the one who came back had a better life than the 9 who just said, see ya, wouldn't want to be la la la. I guarantee you their leprosy all came back. Because if you don't remember the thing that brought you the miracle, it makes you lose the miracle. And that's why humility is important, and gratitude is important, and not taking anything for granted, and really appreciating when somebody does something for you. And I may not do it perfectly, but I try to remember to say thank you to everybody. I mean, I really try to, and because I just know how important it is. People are willing to help. I know I'm willing to help other people. I just want you to be aware that, I don't know, it's just appropriate. I think it came from God. I think it's the whole point of God saying, praise me. You think? The Psalms is 150 thank you notes, basically. Here's Matthew 15:34, also in the New King James. I referred to this recently, but this is the story of where the meeting went long, and there were thousands of people, and the disciples said, the sun's going down, we need to let these people go because they got to eat. And he says, well, you just feed them. And the disciples said, what are you talking about? There's like thousands of people here. And Jesus said, oh, yeah, you're right. I don't know what I'm thinking. I must be dehydrated. No, Jesus says, well, how many loaves do you have? Again, this is the tone of this question is very similar to, what do you have in your hand, Moses? Because I guarantee you when they're responding, they're meaning it kind of sarcastically, like, we have, how many loaves was it? 5 loaves, 2 fish, something like that. It was a handful. It was less than 10. It was like, well, Jesus, we've got this much bread, which basically would not be enough to feed the 12 disciples. And Jesus says, well, bring it here. That's why if you talk about what you don't have, how much you owe, how far in arrears you are, whatever, all you're doing is injecting the lack and the debt with steroids and making it bigger and bigger and bigger. So you have to ask, well, what do I have? I will even tell you this, and some of you may have been here before, if you've ever been behind in your bills, your mortgage or whatever, you'll find that most, even mortgage companies, whatever, will work with you if you will just acknowledge that you're going through a difficult time. And many times they will even say, well, what can you pay? Sometimes you can just pay the interest or whatever. It's just the acknowledgement of it. Most people are not trying to throw you into debtor's prison. I remember the first board I ever had back, I was 26, 27 when I started the church. All of these men were old enough to be my father. They're all successful, all high-paying jobs, whatever. And they used to, you know what the sonny boy treatment is? They just kind of treat me like a kid sometimes. I understand why Paul wrote to Timothy and said, let no man despise your youth, because I have been a young pastor before. And I remember one time we were behind on our payroll taxes. People say churches don't have to pay taxes. They don't have to pay property tax, but they do pay payroll tax and sales tax, and ministers are taxed, believe me. But we were a little bit behind on it, and these guys were such negative nillies. They were like, I don't know what we're going to do. The IRS is going to come up here Sunday morning and padlock this front door in front of this congregation. I said, are they? I'm telling you, that's what they do. They're going to come up Sunday morning. You will be here trying to get in for Sunday morning, and they will padlock this door. I'm like, oh, crap, really? So, I was freaking out, and I didn't want to let them know how terrified I was. Like, that's all I need is for the Rockdale Citizen to put a big picture of me being padlocked out. And I said, okay, give me tomorrow and let me get back with you. So I get dressed, drive to the IRS office. Hi, I'm Jim Swilley. I pastor a church. I said, we're a little bit behind on the payroll taxes, and my board seems to think that y'all are going to padlock us. And the guy was like, what? No, we're not. He said, how far behind are you? I said, a couple of weeks. And he said, what can you pay? I said, well, I could pay this. He said, fine, pay that and pay the rest of it in 90 days. I said, that's it? He said, yeah, we're not going to padlock you. I wanted to go, can I get a picture of your face to take back to show these guys? Because I'm dreading these board meetings. Every board meeting, they're like, I'm like, I want to just look at this guy's face. Because he was like, padlock you? I'm like, no. He said, I don't think we've ever padlocked a church anyway. He said, you need to. And so I went back for the next board meeting. I said, we're going to be fine. And we had it paid in like 30 days. But the point is you just have to communicate. And that's really all being thankful to somebody is just the communication. Like, I got it. I understand that you care enough about me to invest in my life. And I mean that. The next is Matthew 17:27. This is in the Living Bible. And I like this story. This is the story of when actually the disciples owed taxes. And they didn't have the money. And Jesus tells them he says, go down to the shore and throw in a line and open the mouth of the first fish you catch. You will find a coin to cover the taxes for both of us. Take it and repay them. Can anybody tell me what's extraordinary or remarkable about this? Not just that you don't normally find money in fish's mouths, but why is, with what I'm teaching today, why is this important? They were fishermen. He was saying, this is like him saying, Moses, what's in your hand? This for them was their shepherd's crook. Now, is there normally money in fish's mouth? No. So that would already be a miracle. But it's a miracle with a message to them. Because what he's saying is, your own skill and expertise will always provide you what you need to have more than enough. And so for you, money in a fish's mouth would mean money in whatever. I can't tell you how many times somebody's asked me to do something that they paid me extra for, and like the next couple of days, something would happen where I would need nearly that exact amount for something. I think, wow, that's just amazing. Like it came within the realm of this is what I do. Even, and again, I've shared this with you before, but a guy heard me a few years ago, came to hear me preach, and I was being pretty funny that night, and he came up afterwards. I told you this recently. And he was a manager for comedians, and he said, "You're really funny. Have you ever thought about doing stand-up?" And I said, "No, because I just use the humor to get my points across." He said, "Well, I'd like to hire you for a convention." And I said, "I don't think I could just go tell jokes." "What kind of convention is it?" "Stockbrokers." "Stockbrokers? Ugh. How can I be funny for proctologists? I could be funny for all day long. Those jokes write themselves. But stockbrokers, I don't know." And I didn't want to say no, so I just said, I could do it, but he said, "What would you charge?" And I put out such a high amount, I thought he would be, "Oh, I clearly can't afford you." I was actually saying it so he would say, "Never mind." And I said, "Yeah, if you paid me." I wasn't crazy, but it was more than I got paid for preaching. And it was. He didn't bat an eye. He said, "Okay, can I?" I said, "Oh, okay." And I don't even think I was all that funny. I mean, by the time I got there, they were drunk and had been whitewater rafting all day. So what I found is what really made them laugh is if you targeted one of the guys and kind of made fun of him, or they thought that was hysterical. So I just kind of left my routine and, I really kind of became a little softer than Don Rickles. But yeah, because that's what that got the laughs. And I got my check. And like the next 2 or 3 days, something came up that if it hadn't been for that check, I don't know what I would have done. It was like, I was like, thank God I went and made those stockbrokers laugh, because this was money in the fish's mouth. I can be funny. Many of you today have laughed in spite of yourself. I won't tell you the story of the deaf guy. I've told you that too many times. All right, let's wrap this up. I like this quote. Wayne Oates says, "Everything you need, you already have." I mean, that's basically everything I've said today, but it's the crook in Moses' hand. It's repent, for the kingdom is at hand. It's go find money in the fish's mouth. Stop falling for this line that miracles are out there somewhere else. You already know how to get a miracle. You already know how to do this. I think the fact that for whatever Metron is, the fact that we're in a few weeks about to meet the half-decade mark, that's kind of miraculous. Don't y'all think? I think that's just really kind of miraculous. It's not even a church. Like people, once in a while somebody will come and they say, "Do you not have Wednesday night church?" I'm like, "Nope." "Do you have a choir?" "Nope." "Praise team?" I mean, it's all the stuff that people usually look for. "Do you have child care?" "Y'all going to be there next Sunday?" "No, we're going to be meditating on the beach." "Y'all ever gone before?" "This will be our seventh." "What, did you have a retreat center?" "Mm-mm. People stay in hotels." "How do they afford to do that?" "I don't know. They just do it." But the fact is it's, you kind of are living in the miraculous, and you don't even notice that you're already doing it. And that's why I say you have to notice it, or otherwise you block your own blessings. When you start noticing every little thing that happens, like, wow, that was kind of miraculous. That was kind of a miracle. It happens to me over and over again, and I never, as I told you the other day, I'm not becoming blasé to it. It actually becomes more exciting. Now it's like, oh my God, it happened again and again. Oh, it happened again. Oh my God, it happened again. Oh, there's another one. That's why I love the scriptures like He will daily load us with benefits, or good measure pressed down, shaken together, and running over, or El Shaddai, the God who is more than enough. I love that idea that there's plenty to go around. There's so much more. There's more than enough. And when you need a miracle, you can get a miracle. And you don't have to look outside yourself for it. It's not some kind of new age platitude. It really is the truth. The miracle is in you. You already have the idea. You already know how to do it. And so the last thing I'll look at in this series is this quote by Deborah Brody, and it may be a meme. It says, seeing a miracle will inspire you, but knowing you are a miracle will change you. And I told you this, I think, a couple of weeks ago about how, I don't know the exact statistics, but at your conception, there were millions of sperm cells that died, but somehow one that had your DNA on it survived and became, ultimately mixed with the egg, became you. And somehow around 9 months later, some of you might have gotten here a little earlier, a little after, but sometime within that framework, you got here. And you're still alive. And you think about all the things that you've survived. Things that, I don't know if you have stories like mine, but I have so many stories of things that I think, how did I get through that? Or like times when a car was coming right for me and I'd close my eyes and say Jesus or something, and the next thing the car's on the other side of me, and I think, I don't know what just happened. Something miraculous happened. And so many of those situations happen over and over and over. Being at the right place at the right time, meeting the right person, it's just, you can't trivialize those things. You have to accentuate them. But the point of the miracles is so that they do change you. And this is how they should change you. Do you get to the point that you're not stressed about stuff anymore? That you're not worried about stuff anymore? You're just like, I got this. I know how to create a miracle. And if I need a deadline may be a good thing. A deadline may force me to get it in gear and make the miracle happen and stop being so passive about everything. Because we all have to be reminded. Part of the reason I wrote the meditation I wrote this morning about your dominant thought is I didn't like the dominant thought I was having this morning. So I thought, what do I need to change? I thought, I need to tell other people whatever your dominant thought is will become your reality. And I don't want what I'm thinking this morning, I don't want that to become my reality. I know how to change this. I have a platform where I can speak to myself and people will say, oh my God, this is just for me. I'm like, no, it wasn't. It was just for me. Glad you enjoyed it. So that's not always true. Sometimes I'll post a quote. It's not really anything I'm going through. I just like the quote. I think I like the energy on that. But a lot of times I'm speaking to myself first. And it's because I know how to do this. I know how to encourage myself in the Lord. I don't need to go, if you're on antidepressants, I'm not judging you. Do what works for you. I don't have to do that. I know how to encourage myself. I know how to, doesn't mean I don't deal with some same emotions everybody deals with. But I also know, well, this is what I need to do to go asymmetrical and change this thing and change the energy on it. And it's awesome. And, I don't take for granted the miracle. I don't even know if Mr. Marshall knows that he provides this for me. But sometimes in the course of a day, something will happen or somebody will say something that I think, this is really crappy that this happened. And it's not that I just want to unload on him when he gets home, but you can't help but say, can I just tell you what happened today and what somebody said? And it's not that he doesn't listen, but as I'm saying it to him, it's like, this really isn't that big a deal, is it? Because he's not hearing it like it's that big a deal. He's like, oh, I really hate that. where are we going to eat? And I'm like, no, and I don't mean, I'm not saying that he doesn't say, if I was really upset, he would be more compassionate. But I like the way I feel when I tell you this, because I'm realizing, yeah, this isn't, thank you for being my sounding board, instead of, oh my God, seriously, have I got to come home and hear this? No, it's like, I hate that. And he's motivated differently than me, and it's really good for me. So, yeah, you're right. And I want Mexican. So, and we went to La Fonda yesterday. I was like, come on, Jesus. We did. I said, where is it? Right there in front. I'm telling you, you get a parking place at La Fonda on Ponce, anybody can cure cancer. This is a miracle. And there it was, right in front. I could even parallel park it. Like, look at that. And I'm only halfway kidding when I say stuff like that, because I do think, yeah, this is miraculous. And I'm so bent on looking for the miraculous that if the parking spot wasn't there, then I would say, well, apparently there's either someplace better for us to go, or we're about to avoid something that's about to go down. I mean, there was one time, I don't even know if my mom will remember this, but when my parents lived in Columbus, she was on that cycle where you go to they called it a beauty shop back then. You go on a regular basis. And she went to the same person who had the same chair, who sat at the same spot. And she said one day, I just didn't want to go. So for some reason, I just didn't want to go, and I just canceled my appointment. That day, somebody lost control of their brakes, ran through a plate glass window right into the chair where she would have been sitting during her appointment time. Now you can say, oh, you were lucky. No, that was a miracle that she created because she listened to her own internal GPS system. I mean, there were people that didn't, if you had a 6 degree of separation that perished on 9/11, I don't mean to make you feel negative about it, but there were people that I've heard from who said, for something, I just didn't show up for work that day. I don't know what it was. That day just had a weird feeling about it, and I didn't go. And that's nothing negative on the 3,000 people that perished, but there were some people who didn't. There was one woman who was running down the stairs in the first tower that dropped, and people were running up the stairs, and they said, it's on fire at the bottom of the stairs. Run to the top. Helicopters are coming to pick us up. And she said, something in me said, no, they're not. And she said, I just pushed past them and I ran through the fire. It didn't burn me, but I ran through the fire, and all of those people died because they went to the top thinking that the helicopters didn't have time to get there. The building fell before it so soon. So even in the midst of horrible things, 91st Psalm says 1,000 will fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand and will not come near you. That's nothing negative on the people who do perish, but there's a little line. I got to shut up, but I'm feeling the anointing on this. There's a line in Hebrews 11 that always stands out to me, because Hebrews 11 is God's hall of fame of faith, and it talks about, Abraham and Noah and David and all these great giants of faith, and it puts a lot of spin on it. It only presents them in a positive light. But then it says, and then others, it talks about martyrs. It says others were sown asunder and perished by the fire and perished by the sword or whatever. And it says this line, not accepting deliverance. And I think, wow, that's kind of interesting. Like, there are some people that would say, I don't necessarily want to survive. There's other people that say, no, I want to push through it. The fact that it says there are other people, in other words, other people ended up differently because they accepted something different. Do you understand what I'm saying? There are some people who are willing to say, I don't really need any miracles. Fine. I'll take yours. If you're not going to eat the rest of that, can I have some of yours? Because I love them. I love miracles. And I don't have a bad life. I am blessed. I am prosperous. But I just love the vibration of miracles. I love feeling like you can go through life in the real world living in this kind of other zone where you just, even, I got to shut up, but even last week when I had the girls, my granddaughters, I took them to lunch, and then I said, do y'all want to see a movie? Yeah, we want to see Aladdin. Okay, so I go on, I've got the Fandango app where I can go ahead and you buy the tickets online and you buy you pick out your seats. Only bad thing is if you miss it, you've already paid for the ticket. There is a downside to it because that means you've got to show up for it because you get charged and you get this text back. So there's a lot of construction going up and down Peachtree and Spring and everything, and you have to know kind of how to navigate through it. And I was coming up West Peachtree, and I thought, you know what, I could take a right here and go on Peachtree. This would be quicker. Well, it wasn't. When I got there, a cop car was there and had blocked everybody off, and I thought, oh, man. Well, then I got just caught in total gridlock. And the girls were saying, are we still going to be able to make it? I said, I don't know. And Olivia said, it's starting right now. I said, well, they'll have previews or whatever. And so I said, y'all just agree with me. I said, traffic, I need you to open up, and I need green lights all the way down Peachtree. And they were like, all right. So somehow it opened up, and I wasn't driving fast, but I was like, I don't think I've ever driven down Peachtree where I had I think it was all green lights except one. And everyone's like, come on, green light. I was like, yes, there's another one. Yes, there's another. It was like a video game. Like there's traffic everywhere, and somehow the cars. And so help me, we walked in and sat down just as the opening credits started. And they said, "How do we do that?" I said, "That's what Poppy calls miracles." Now I wasn't endangering their lives, but I was like, "Come on, green light, come on." And it was like, "Oh my God, there it is." I said, "I've never." And they are with me. They said, "We've never even seen so many green lights." I was like, "It's like a green light miracle day." But they will always remember that we made it and got there exactly on time. And I still don't know how. It's kind of like time had to be suspended for us to make it. So let me leave you with this. Miracles are everywhere. Miracles are in you. You are the miracle. Let's all stand. Did you get anything out of this month? I want you to find your miracle. Some people say, well, I don't know if I want to walk on water or not. Well, walking on water may not serve you. You might need to find the miracle that's more appropriate for you. I just soon get in the boat, frankly. But I might need that miracle for something else. And that's what we're all going to find. Let's run this, and then I'll speak a blessing over you.
Contributing to Metron is quick and easy.
Easy peasy.
You can give anytime using any smartphone.
Anytime.
Text the amount you'd like to donate to
And then double it.
404-620-5044. You will then receive a notification that you successfully completed your donation.
And that you can give more.
You may also visit bishopthenow.com and click the support tab to give there as well. When you contribute to Metron, you're also donating to the charity or organization of the month. Thank you for your investment into Metron.
If you have a check, make it JESM. Danny will receive that. Thank you, Danny, for always being faithful to do that. I appreciate it. If you have cash, just pay it forward. I not only release miracles for you, I say that you're able to find them within yourself. That you think miracles, you vibrate miracles, you speak miracles, you act miraculously. That when you hear a no, that it only shows you other ways to find a yes. That all the promises of God are yes and amen. I release miracles from outside you, and I release miracles from within you. All things are possible. You are miracle-minded, and there are miracles waiting to be released out of your mouth today. As you speak to the mountain, it will be cast into the sea. You wake up tomorrow saying, "This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. It's the day the Lord has enabled me to make, and I will rise to the occasion." Peace. I love you.